Let's take you back to the weather situation that we've been tracking in different parts of the country, beginning, of course, with the coastal areas along the Western and Eastern Cape. I'm joined now by the provincial Cogta MEC, Zolile Williams. Mr. Williams, good evening to you. Thanks for your time tonight. Of course, your spokesperson has started just with giving us a brief background of what the situation in your province is. So you can start off by telling us what are the active warnings in the Eastern Cape currently around the inclement weather.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Good evening to you and your viewers. Yes, Kathy, since last Friday, we received level 9 warnings for high rainfall that may lead to flash floods and also stormy winds for the weekend, especially for the coastal regions, which is Nelson Mandela Metro and Buffalo City Metro. And I think, Kathy, climate change has actually rearranged the climate conditions that would normally occur in our province. In that, we normally receive high rainfalls during October, November. However, we were blessed to have earlier rainfalls, and at least, Kathy, in respect of the effect to communities, it was quite minimal in the Nelson Mandela area, especially in Cogta Township. 112 members of community were affected. We were ready because of the level 9 that was indicated by South African Weather Services. We were ready in terms of our disaster teams. And once flash floods confronted our people, we could move in swiftly. However, the communities were happy to stay at home because the flooding was not to an extent that they could be relocated to township halls. So we could only provide them with blankets and food, and also ensure that they will remain on alert in that particular area. But on the positive side, Kathy, as you would know, Nelson Mandela was almost at a day zero in terms of lack of water. So our dams have actually captured some huge amount of water over a weekend. One of them, Grondal, is about 100%, Churchill is about 76%, and Cogta is about 60%. Only the Mpofu Dam in the Cogta area is still suffering. So on the positive side, Kathy, we captured at least a bit of water to save us from day zero in the Nelson Mandela area.
So then, as far as you're concerned, then, MEC, the worst of the storm is behind you as a province?
Not really, Kathy. We're still on the alert. What is worrying us is the Crom River Dam, Crom River in Nelson Mandela. That river is flooding, and we would want to caution communities residing nearby Crom River that if we get rains this evening and tomorrow, that river may overflood and actually create challenges for our communities. So we remain on alert. We're not yet out of the woods, Kathy.
So then what interventions are you putting in place, MEC, to again ensure that your teams will be ready to step in? But, you know, it's one thing being able to respond to a disaster, but the other, of course, is to say, what are the preventative steps that you can take right now, given the level of warning that you are anticipating?
Yes, Kathy, what we are doing is that our teams are on the ground. As I'm talking about the Crom River, we're monitoring there. Police divers are on site monitoring the situation close to the river. Our disaster management team is around there. So we are communicating with communities to make them ready for any eventualities. And those that are close by the river, we have cautioned them to say we request them if they can relocate, if they need accommodation from us, we would provide such. But we are remaining on alert, especially in Nelson Mandela. But in the case of Buffalo City, we know, Kathy, that since the weekend, many areas of Mdantsane have been affected through electricity, and the municipality is working hard to restore those services so that the community can get back to their normal lives.
How long will you be in the state of alert for?
As long as the alerts and the warnings from SARS, from South African Weather Services, are still indicating that there's a level of disaster that we'll experience, our teams will remain on alert, Kathy.
All right. Zolile Williams, we'll leave it there. The Eastern Cape
Thank you very
MC
much.
for Cogta. As you heard, emergency services on standby across the province, really, as the province is not out of the woods just yet.